afternoon, you guys. How many hours do you work per day? Girl, it's not per day. I work every day, including the weekend. I woke up with the migraine headache so bad, and I just know, like, work. Once I tell you guys, okay, after in 2 weeks, I'll tell y'all what happened, because I usually just tell stories after it happened and after I resolve the problem. My face may look a little dry because I have no moisturizer on it, but it's like we live in a world where men sometimes, like doing business with men, men have egos and they just feel like they're always right. They could finesse women. Like, I just always have problems. Like, after doing business with like a contractor or a manufacturer, like after like 6 months, they always start trying to get over on me. Like, always trying to get over. Like, pulling some on me that I know that if I was a man, they wouldn't do it. But you've done business with me for the past 6 months, so you know it's me. You know it's only me. So you do things and say things that you will never ever try with a man. So I've been going through that. That's why I've been coming on here. And when I do be coming on here, you guys say I look sad. I am beyond stressed, but I always just keep the faith that I'll figure it out. Yeah. So, like, I've been in business for like over a decade. Well, it's been like 11 years. This will be my 11th year in business, and I always tell people it's always growing pains. It's a growing process. You gotta take the good with the bad, the ugly, the sad. And when I say it gets ugly, it gets ugly. Like, I took a lot of losses. I wouldn't come on. Excuse me. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I be taking a loss, and my loss don't be like it'd be like the last loss right now was like 35,000. That's not as bad. Because I done took $150,000 losses and $200,000 loss. So this 35,000 really isn't that bad for me. It's just like whatever. It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as other situations I've been in. So, and it's just the man being and thinking, I don't know what be going through people's head, but I keep God first. I stay prayed up, and I just work my ass off. So a problem that would probably took a person a month to fix took me 2 to 3 days to fix. And by the grace of God, I fixed it. I didn't do it on my own. God gave me the strength to fix it. So it's all rectified. But it officially will be fixed in like probably 2 weeks. So after the 2 weeks, then I'll tell y'all the whole story. I mean, detail from detail. And I can't really talk about it until my lawyer said until like maybe 14 days. I can't even speak on it anymore. So that's that. And then it'd be like, people want to be fake gangsters. Like, you got to understand, do you want to be a gangster or do you want to be a businessman? Because if you want to get gangster, we could bring my family up here. But then you want to get corporate. So it's like, it gets real crazy in the business industry, like doing business, period. So that's why I give my hat off to all entrepreneurs, whether you are a small business, an upcoming business, whatever. My hat go off to any woman in business, because it's just hard. It is not easy. It is not easy. So that's that. And it's just work. But yeah, that's what I've been going through. I woke up with a headache. And it's so crazy because I have really bad anxiety. So it's been so bad. Like, I've been dreaming about the situation. That's how much it's been with me. So this is just not for the weak. You got to be able to stand 10 toes down at all times. But I do say, doing business off morals and integrity, you will be in business for a long time. Don't let nobody make you do something that's not right. Always do things with a good heart, and you will stay in business. But I'm so used to going through with people in business and this and that. But you got to understand, number one, before I do business with anybody, you sign a contract. It's stipulations, it's terms, it's all that. So I always protect myself because I'm very big on, we need to sign a contract. If I'm putting a check in your hand, sign your contract. So yeah, morals and integrity will keep you in business. And just doing things with a pure heart will keep you in business. Your blessings will always come. Don't do them how they did you. Don't try to get back. Move on and your blessings will come. Trust me when I tell you this. I've been doing this a decade. Over a decade. What do you do if you don't see results in business? Well, you won't ever see you won't ever see results instantly. And sometimes this is how I look at things. When I'm not seeing the results I want to see, take for example, if you want to make $5,000 a day in sales or $2,000, sometimes it's God testing you to see how bad you want it. Because if you're doing it all for just money, you won't be successful. Once again, you have to do it off morals and integrity. When you don't see the results that you want to see, it is a test. It's a test of God He's trying to see how bad you want it. Are you going to fold when things get tough? Or is it going to mold you into a better business person? So that's when you got to see. And let me say something. I've been doing this a decade. I've been in business for 10 years. It's been years I don't see the results I want. And I don't give up. I keep going. Like, you really have to push through everything. I'm telling you, it's like you have to go down a dark tunnel. And I promise you, at the end of the road, there is light. If you be consistent with your business, I mean consistent, not just about making money, having a good product, having a good customer service, doing everything, you will prosper. I'm not going to sit here and say I always had A1 customer service or everything was always A1. No, I learned from my mistakes. What's the hardest part about running a business? That's the hardest part because, I don't think people understand. To me, a 9 to 5 is easier because when you have a business, it's a 24/7. I work on the weekends. People can call me 11 o'clock at night about my business. I don't care. It's always going. It's like a never ending. Question, have I built up my business credit? Well, I'm not going to say I don't use my business credit, but I don't use my business credit. If your business credit will come, it will be important once you are doing stuff with a line of credit. Meaning, if you work with a manufacturer and you ask them for a line of credit, that's when it will matter. With me, I pay for my stuff cash. Well, not cash, but I pay with the check. I pay for my stuff. I don't ask anyone for a line of credit. But it's different now. But I just like to get it out the way. I want my merchandise and you get your money and that's it. I feel like it'd be more stressful for me to be paying for something monthly when I can just pay for it all at once. So that's why it just never mattered to me. And plus, I don't get no business credit cards or none of that stuff. But if you're trying to get business credit cards and all that, then that's important. But I don't do that. What is the most challenging experience as a businesswoman? Not bringing emotions to the business table. To know that this is business, not personal. I think that is the most challenging thing as a woman, because you guys know women deal with things with emotions, and it's kind of hard to not be emotional when it's your pride and joy. Like a business is like your child. It's kind of hard not to be emotional about your child. What keeps you motivated on the days you're not? I gotta keep going. Or I came this far, why would I stop? And plus, I set really high goals for myself. Y'all might think, oh, she's successful. She accomplished a lot. It's so many other things that I'm working on that I have to get out and put out. So I'm not about to miss my moment. So that's what keeps me motivated. How do you balance spiritual life and business life? It kind of go hands in hand, because that's what kind of keeps me motivated and keep me going and stuff. Business and spiritual life to me goes hand in hand. Yeah, it goes hand in hand. So I don't think you could have but I don't have no spiritual life. I mean, I wouldn't have no business life without my spiritual life, because God is the reason why all this happened. But how do you balance it all? Like, how often do you read your Bible and dedicate yourself to reading your Bible? Okay. Truth is, I don't read my Bible at all. I listen to my pastor podcast. I go to online church on Sundays, and I go to Bible studies on Thursday online. And if I can't go the same day, I'll watch it. So every week I am listening to my church services, my Bible study, and I'm listening. So I can't go a week without doing that, because it makes me happy. It makes me get through the week. My pastor and the podcast is what helps me get through my week. Without that, my week will be already crazy. So if I'm having a crazy week, I will go even watch it even more, because it helps calms my spirit down. And the word just means so much to me. So without that part of my life, I probably wouldn't be successful, because it keeps you mentally strong to deal with everything that life throws at you. How do you budget your business expenses? Well, I always have a 5-time rule in my head, like a 3 to 5 time rule. So if 3 times the money ain't coming in, it don't need to go out, if that makes sense. So if you make $10,000 in sales, don't go spend $5,000 on more product, $2,000 on yourself, and another $1,000 on the business expenses. Right there, you just wasted your money. I would say always invest a third, because you always have to save for a rainy day when it comes to business. So, if you made $10,000 in sales, spend $2,000 to $3,000 back on inventory and save the rest for a rainy day. You might have to take $1,000. Okay, put it like this. You made $10,000, right? $5,000 put up, save for a rainy day. $2,500 put into the business, buying more product. Another $1,000 you can save for marketing and branding. Another $1,000 will be for the packaging. And then you can put the other $1,000. Do I have enough left? Or $500, and pay yourself like that. So that's how you kind of can budget the expenses. Don't ever spend more than what you get. And don't ever spend the same amount that you made. Always save for a rainy day, because with business, it fluctuates. You're going to have big days and you're going to have small business days. And with all it be storms coming. So you have to be able to weather the storm when things get hard. So you guys, always going to be a rainy day. Take, for example, no one knew we were going to go in a pandemic at all. Nobody. Yes, only $500. Girl, what you need more money for? Save that. You're going to make more money in business. Don't be in a rush to spend money on your personal self. Nobody knew we was going in a pandemic. But if you kind of saved, you would have been able to weather that storm. If you guys notice, a lot of businesses closed down because they probably didn't save for a rainy day. I always have more in my savings. And what do you mean only $500? How much money you want to spend on yourself? That's another thing. This is a business. This is not yourself. You can't worry about yourself having money. You worry about your business having money, because your business having money is going to make you have money in the long run. So we're talking about longevity. We're talking about 5 and 10 years in. You want money for now? Fuck now. What about 5 and 10 years? What about when your kids get older? What about building generational wealth? So yeah. What advice would you give people to aspire to own a warehouse? You know what I said on this? I feel like this social media has caused this thing of where people want a warehouse, but okay, you want to own a warehouse, but what is your business? Right? Does your business call for you to even own a warehouse? Because you got to understand, a warehouse is just overhead. You got the warehouse mortgage payment. You got the warehouse insurance. You got the warehouse workers' comp. You got the warehouse employees. So you got to understand, with that warehouse comes a $20,000 a month expense. Because you got to have insurance. You got to have workers' comp. So it can't always be I want a warehouse, I want a warehouse. Because not only is that warehouse going to come with another $20,000 overhead. Let me tell you something. When I first started, I didn't have a warehouse. I was in my house. I was in my garage. I was in a small office. It took me a good 5 to 6 years before I got a warehouse. So you got to crawl before you walk. Like, I don't think people understand that. And I just feel like social media has made it so bad for entrepreneurs where it's like they want to hurry up and rush and get a warehouse when they didn't even start the business yet. That is more money. My warehouse cost me an extra $30,000 a month. $30K on expenses, insurance, mortgage. That's an extra $30K. So you got to understand, you have to bring in 3 times that amount to cover those expenses. You get what I'm saying? You have to bring in 3 times that amount. So if I'm spending $30K a month, I need to bring in at least, the least I have to bring in $90K. And that still doesn't make sense. That's the least amount. And that's just to cover the expenses. So y'all got to understand that. So it's like, if you don't have to pay that extra overhead, why not save it? Why not save it until you get big enough? Start small until you grow. So, and then you got to understand, payroll is included too. You got to pay payroll. You got to have employees and people and managers running the warehouse. So you got to always think about that other things, like crawl before you walk. So you got to really think about all of that. So keep that in mind. If you don't need a warehouse, don't go get one, baby. Save that money. The reason why I have a warehouse because I have no choice. And let me tell you something. I'm not getting no bigger warehouse until I can't fit until it's on the floor and it's a fire hazard. I'm not rushing for nobody because that is a real expense. That's a real headache. Somebody slip and fall in that warehouse, you got to pay workers' comp. That's coming out of your money. You are responsible. If you don't train somebody to do the forklift or do anything, they're going to sue you. So you better be prepared and ready for that. Because that's when get real. Get really, really real in the field. So don't run into that warehouse. No, like that is another headache. I am telling you. You got to understand. And then hiring employees. Oh, I don't even think y'all want me to get on that. Hiring employees and finding good help is finding a needle in a haystack. And I personally won't hire family and friends. Just because it's always going to be personal. And this is not personal, baby. This is business. So if you come up to work late, if you ain't doing your job right, you got to get the fired. And then they think like, oh, I'm your friend and this and that. No, baby, this is business. My customers need that. I have to pay you for doing your job. You have to do your job. So therefore, I'd rather have our friendship. So if you need money, I'd rather just give you money than make you work for me. Cause I don't want to mess up my friendship. And I know I want my business to get done. So I'm just not. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. So now it's like hiring employees. People is lazy. Like warehouse works mean driving a forklift, managing inventory, counting inventory, packaging, shipping. You gotta understand clothes is just like, okay, it's easy to pack and ship clothes. But you gotta understand I have pots, pans, air fryers, utensils, books. I got heavy. My come on pallets. We need a forklift. We need a trained forklift driver. We need somebody to move and count pallets. So we need experienced people. Then you got the people who want to come and work for 2 weeks or a week and quit just to go try to get unemployment. And you are responsible for that because unemployment is going to contact you. And you ain't about to get no unemployment. Like you just it's so much moving parts to this business. Like, and those who know. You know the labor laws? You know that? Because before you even get somebody in there, you need to know the labor laws. Because these employees and people are going to try to come in here and get over on you. So you got to know when would they qualify and when they won't qualify for unemployment, job abandonment, how to quit, how to resign. You got to know your job as being the owner. Like it's so much, so you don't get sued. So when I say it's so much to this, it's a never-ending cycle. It's never ending, ever, ever, ever. So that's why it just be really, it be mind-boggling to me when I be like, when people be saying stuff and I'm like, no, that's not how that goes. That's not how that goes. You got to know EDD laws because that's for you to know as the business owner. Because when people get unemployment, it comes out of your funds and the state. And remember, you paying state taxes when you pay them on payroll. So you got to know that. You got to know the labor laws in your city because each state has different labor laws. So you got to know about that. You just have to really thoroughly educate yourself. And the way I say educate yourself is because people is going to try to really hard in this business. It is going to be people who this is their job to get over on business owners. So it's so much that you gotta know before getting into it. It is so much you gotta know before getting into it. So yeah, it's baby, crawl just before you walk. That's all I can tell you. Crawl before you walk. Because when I say, I'm not going to say I've been through it all, but I've been through enough. And I've been able to weather a storm for over a decade. And I'm just telling you guys from my experience. Girl, I can't write no business book for y'all. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of advice. Things that I've went through. And I'm only speaking on experience. What advice can you give someone that is trying to evolve but have no guidance? Let God guide you. Let your spirit guide you. Let the universe kind of guide you to do what's right. Listen to your intuition. I think that's the most guidance you need. Like, I don't think it's no how-to manual with running a business. And I think a person who tells you I could run your business or this is how it's done is no how-to manual, because everyday things come up in trials and tribulations that no one knows of. No one could predict the future. No one could predict that the whole economy was going on a pandemic. So I just think it's a learning experience, and it's like guide yourself. Like, listen to the universe, listen to God, and do things with morals and integrity and a good heart. And I feel like your blessings will always pour in. Even if your business has a bad year, the next year will be better because you know you did the best that you could do and you built good business relationships. What keeps you going, or what pushes you to get out of bed every day and do what you do? I love what I do. I made my passion my career. That pushes me. My daughter pushes me. I have her watching. I'm trying to mold her into the best businesswoman that I know how to. So that's what motivates and pushes me. Like, I didn't come this far to stop. And I think it's more of like, it's more of like a challenge for me, because each day I be pushing myself to see how far I can go. Like, damn, if I did this in 2 months, what can I do in 6 months? Like, it's always like, it's a challenge for myself. Like, I am really addicted to the hustle. Like, I'm addicted to it. Like, I have a real addiction to it, to like hustling and just seeing how far I can go and how much I can accomplish. How do you balance owning a business and still having personal time? Now, I don't know how to balance that. Okay, you guys, I'm tired of answering questions. I'm sorry. Like, catch me on another day.